Boss Culture, your one-stop destination for everything pop culture. My name's Aston, and today we're going to do a review and a recap for Flash Season 3, Episode 1, Flashpoint. So in this episode, we get to see Barry is in the alternate timeline living his life. He's not really a superhero, but he's still using his powers basically to check out the scene, which is kind of weird to me that we don't get to see Barry as a hero. Even though he had his powers, I think it's weird that he wouldn't step up, even though we know that, I feel like his character just wouldn't sit by and watch another Flash suffer with a hero. Now, besides that, in this episode, we get to see Kid Flash. Kid Flash is obviously Wally. Wally is out here. We see he's a totally different type of Flash than Barry is. He's a lot more edgy. We see he cusses a lot more. We see he's actually more to the point. He's a lot more action oriented, I want to say. Like he's kind of like Barry. Like Barry basically rushes into violence and rushes into a fight also, but Barry's a little bit more talkative. He's going to taunt you a lot more. As in, Wally's more about the action. He's going to talk to you, but he's more trying to get the fight going. Now, besides that, we have to see Rival. Rival is going to double as two characters this season, as it appears. When Rival take his mask off and says everything, wants you to know who you're fighting against. At the end of the episode, we see he's also the alchemist. Which we see he's also an alchemist in the bed. Like when he comes to the bed and goes to the mirror and everything, he's the alchemist. So maybe we could have seen other characters like that on. Maybe we won't see it more tie-in. I'm kind of upset we didn't get to see Malfoy. I don't know what it is. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Not Malfoy, but Draco. We get to see Draco. So I'm kind of upset about that, man. I wish we would have got to see Draco, but hey, it is Malfoy. I'm so, but I wish we would have got to see him in here. But hey, maybe next episode he'll be here. But on this episode, basically, we see Barry is afraid to talk to Iris again, which is another weird thing to me. This whole world is just so weird to me, like, where at this point, I feel like it shouldn't have been no issue. Barry has confidence, just from his built-up confidence as him being the Flash in the last season. Maybe that's from him spending too much time here, because we see he's losing his memories. He's not really losing the speed yet because of, like, I don't know why he's not losing the speed yet, but he's just not losing the speed yet. But they said once he lost his full memories, he would lose his speed. But besides that, we get to see like everything's basically reverting. Everything we've seen over the last 2 years is basically just being torn apart in this episode. Maybe that's why this episode was so weird to me. I feel like we were let down for the Flashpoint that we were promised. I wish Flashpoint was more of a season-long thing. But maybe that's a little too much to ask for, because we know if they did a full season worth of Flashpoint, it would affect all 4 shows. Maybe not all 4 shows, but definitely would affect Supergirl. Not even Supergirl. It would only affect Arrow, because Supergirl at the moment is in a whole different universe. So, not universe, but a whole different world. So, it would really only affect Arrow and Flash, because Legends of Tomorrow are outside of the timeline. So I feel like they should have did a full-blown Flashpoint. Yes, it would have affected Arrow and Flash, but that would have been a great way to basically reset Arrow, because we know Arrow has definitely been not what it used to be. But I feel like with the trailers and everything we've seen, it's definitely a vast improvement for Arrow this season. I'm hoping that it's an improvement. That was what got me into this universe was actually Arrow. So hopefully Arrow does improve this season. Now back to Flash. We get to see Flash. We see the Reverse Flash is actually locked into one of the cells. He's basically being the reason he's stuck in the cell. Barry's using the same technology that Zoom used against him. So that's where he's getting stuck in there. I don't really agree with this method. I feel like this is way more barbaric, because basically he's using the same method as Zoom does. So putting Barry and Zoom on the same level, yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. And we see he brings them burgers. He's threatening them not to bring them burgers, which shows like, yes, Barry is technically the bad guy this episode, and Zoom is technically the good guy. Not Zoom, but Reverse Flash is technically the good guy. And we see even when he's willing to let Zoom out just to save him. He he I thought for a second like Zoom just gonna leave him there, like let's leave, but he didn't, because Zoom I think could return to the regular timeline with no issue, but then he wouldn't have any rival with the Flash, so maybe that's why he didn't need Flash there. But we see he does actually keep his word. Now back to Wally. As a hero, we see Wally isn't as strong as Barry is. I don't know how long Wally has actually been the hero, but we get to find out Wally's origins. I'm pretty sure that's definitely going to tie into the New World, because he basically just told Barry how to make him into Kid Flash. And I'm pretty sure that Barry is going to use it. Like, there's no reason for them to give us that Easter egg and not use it. Maybe they're going to tease us with every time we see Wally working on the engine now, we're going to be hoping for a thunderstorm to come, but it's probably going to be raining while Wally's working on his cars. And it's just going to tease us all season. Something around mid-season, they might finally just do it. It's going to be a lot of like close calls, but we're never going to actually get it until then. Now, besides that, we see our Wally and this Wally has the same type of origin story. They're both troubled teens. They're both always in trouble. And they both turned around once they started working with the Flash or became the Flash. Another thing we see is Iris and Wally are extremely close. We don't know about their mom in this episode, not this episode, but in this timeline. But besides that, we see these two are obviously like close siblings. They're working together to bring down the rival, or just that's their Flash team. And Wally's cave is kind of reminiscent to the new DC Flash cave. And you see like all the shots we've seen of Barry's cave, and I think it's the DCEU is what they're calling it. We kind of see the same thing in Wally's cave. We see like the couches around, we see the televisions are all around and everything. So that's the first thing I noticed when I seen these two. Now, back to Joe. We see Joe is like an alcoholic. He's suffering with, I guess, depression, what you want to call it. We don't really know what his issue was. I don't know if we're ever going to find out what his issues were in this timeline, but we know he's drinking a lot. He's always late to work. We've seen for the last 3 months, Barry's been covering for him, like going out of his way to cover, even though they do not have a relationship. We see they have a new captain. If you guys don't know who that captain was, it's actually the original captain from like the 1990s Flash. You know, the one that Barry's dad was from. So, and that's another thing. Barry's parents were just perfect. We didn't see. That's like the one thing I knew like this couldn't last. Like something had to happen, because Barry's parents were just perfect. They're laying on the couch together. We see they're letting Barry still live at home with him, even though he's like in his his mid to late 20s. And yes, it's no issue for mid to late 20s to be living at home. Like in some cases, maybe if you're still in school or something like that. But we see Barry's there. He's still working at the CPD. I forget the name of the police department. But we see them, and it was like a really good episode. I just wish they would have extended Flash. Obviously, they're going to try to make it a 2-episode thing. Flashpoint was one, and now we're getting Paradox in the next one. And with Paradox, once Barry actually makes it home, we find out Joe and Iris are not friends. They're not friends, but they're just not close. We don't know what happened, what the fallout was. Obviously, it's something from what Reverse Flash did. Obviously, there's a lot of things we didn't see. Like we didn't see Jesse. We didn't see Wells. We get to see Cisco. I like the news. Like I like the Cisco as being like the big tech guy, richest man in the world. We had to see Caitlin. Caitlin was a kid's eye doctor, I think she was, and it was funny that part of Caitlin when we had to see Barry basically kidnaps. Nobody really knows how to interpret it, because we see when he kidnaps her, he brings her there. Everybody, look, you just kidnapped her. He kind of let her know like, oh, you're not kidnapped or everything. But it's just funny to see how everybody's life has changed out so much different without Barry being the Flash. And I don't know how that's going to tie into Paradox. We'll find out next week. And that's really all we have for this episode. So for right now, I'm gonna try to keep all the recaps under 10 minutes until like just keep everything under 10 minutes for right now. We're gonna start extending as the as like this as the demand gets bigger, we can start making them bigger. But as for right now, I'm just trying to keep everything under 10 minutes at a compact rate. But besides that, thank you guys for tuning in. My name's Aston. You can just to keep on track with the channel. We're gonna do every DC show. So that's Supergirl, Legends, Arrow, Flash. We're gonna do all 4 episodes every week. And I'm thinking about doing a 4th episode on Friday called Superhero Rundown to show how everything ties in together weekly. But besides that, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. You can follow us on Instagram at lost_culture. You can follow us on Twitter at lost_code_TV. And you can follow me on Instagram at saint_Aston. And as always, stay lost. Crazy to see, like, not really crazy, but we get to see how he's out here doing everything on his own. He's actually not set at, to be upset at him and actually just send him